Muriel, tell us about your ship.
Well, Mimi Jane is a boat I just built, designed and built. She's inspired by tuna fishing boats from my hometown in France, from Concarneau. So yeah, it's a bit of a dream come true. Like over the almost 20 years of designing and building her.
Tell me about that. Like, how did you get? I couldn't imagine building a small boat, let alone. And forgive me, tell the specs about the boat. But I mean, how did you even begin to design it?
Well, it's it's a incremental process, right? You start by building a shape. I start by researching, building a shape, working on from standards, because the boat's all like within boat building standards.
Did you have a background with this?
No, not with this. I did mechanical engineering technology, so I do have a good understanding of structures and also fabrication, so machining, welding, all that sort of stuff. And design. I do also have like a background in computer design. So the whole boat is a computer model. Like it's a solid modeled. The ribs, the main components of it have been NC cut. Like it's actually a traditional boat, but very modern sort of technology to build it.
Steel boat?
It's a steel boat, yes. It's a steel hull, but also those working tuna fishing boats would have been wood boats back in 1900. But in Canada we have very good steel, and the good boat building wood is not as easy to come across. So she's built a steel, but meant to look and have the warmth and feel of a wood boat.
And when did you get, like you said, 17, 20 years ago, you came more or less up with the idea?
Well, I don't know when we came up with the idea, I guess, about 20 years ago, and we laid the keel, started the building process 17 years ago.
It might be a dumb question, but did you ever think you'd get her done?
We're stubborn. I think stubbornness kept us going. It's something that you just keep going, right? Like it's not like I doubted we would get it done, but it's also at the same time it's so surreal when you do that. I never really. It's still surreal. It's still crazy that it's done, that we actually did it.
This is basically the maiden voyage?
With her full set of canvas, it is the first our first voyage. Yes.
Came from Kingston to Cobourg.
Yes, we did Kingston to Cobourg. We did it in 3 days. We're doing little stops, like 8-hour sailing days, because we also have our dogs, and we just do it in respect of their needs. So not too long of days.
And your husband works full time, so this was your full time gig for 17 years?
Yes, yeah. So Mark brings in the revenue, and I spend it.
Can I ask how much?
You can ask, but I don't really have an answer. It's not something we didn't really keep track. It's and just there's not we haven't really kept track of how much it costs. And even if we added the material, like then we'd have to add time, and it's probably something we just don't want to know.
And you welded everything, you did everything?
Yes. There isn't much on the boat that hasn't been built by me or by Mark. The windlass is a pretty cool piece of machinery that came from England. Things like the portholes we ordered and got that, but pretty much everything, was welded or woodwork that we did.
Lucked out that the masts were made in Kingston.
The mast?
Yeah.
No, we made the mast.
Oh, you made the mast?
Yeah, the masts were they're laminated pine. All the wood on the boat is actually also local Eastern Ontario wood that was milled and cut and milled in Eastern Ontario. So yeah, the pine for all the spars are pine, and we laminated them and rounded them, and everything's built. Even if you look at all the pulleys, the wood block pulleys, we all made all those. The sails were made by Andy Soper in Kingston, so that we didn't do those.
nice to have that locally though, like fairly locally. You're from near Ottawa?
Yes. Like we're from Ottawa. We bought property in the countryside south of Ottawa, so we could have a good good living space for the process while we're building the boat.
This might be weird, but buying country in Ottawa, how long is a ship?
The hull is 50 feet.
Buying property in the country and building a 50-foot ship over the course of 17 years, did your neighbors kind of wonder if you know where I'm going with that, because you bought in the country and built it?
You start being known as the boat people, it's sort of like people like you meet people, or and then your neighbors like introduce you to someone. It's like, the people with the boat. So and I think that it's been a bit over that whole time. I think the neighbors also come up with like, is that gonna be done? Like the whole like, I think the whole like how I don't think anybody ever doubted we're gonna get it done, but at the same time, like I said, like once it was done, everybody was like, wow, it happened.
You invited everybody to the launch, which was?
The launch was on June 4th. And yeah, we just kept everybody informed when it was gonna happen, and whoever wanted to show up showed up, and it was great. Now we're sailing her, and we're hoping over time we're gonna get friends and family to come and get to see her sailing.
Your dream is to take her back home?
Well, I think that would be really the way to close the circle. Like I always loved the traditional sailing boat, traditional working boats from home, from in Brittany, and like as a young kid, like I dreamed of those. Like as a teenager, I had like photos and posters of traditional boats on my walls. So for me to go back where this passion started would and where the boat inspired from would close the circle.
Anything else? What was it? I guess, just tell me about when you first took her out for the first time. There must have been a lot of emotion with that.
Well, taking her out, I mean, the first time we felt her move, like on the water, it's something. There's things you just can't really describe, right? And then taking her out, like the first time with all her sails, that was last week. I mean, it's that recent, and again, like the boat comes to life, right? Like you start feeling the power, you start feeling like a bit the character of the boat, right? Like it's coming alive.